Just when I thought the HOA's antics had reached the limits of absurdity, they escalated again. This time, Karen decided to interfere with my garden. While I had been away for a brief trip, she and a few overzealous HOA staff members took it upon themselves to remove plants, rearrange flower beds, and even uproot saplings, all in the name of enforcing rules that did not exist. By the time I returned, the damage was visible. My carefully curated garden, a symbol of years of labor and pride, had been tampered with. Most people would have reacted with anger or despair. I reacted with calculation. I documented everything immediately. Photographs, videos, and timestamps captured the extent of the interference. Every plant removed, every flower displaced, every footprint in the soil became evidence. It was clear that Karen and her team had crossed a line, creating a pattern of harassment that was both tangible and legally actionable. The next step was subtle but devastating. I contacted the local authorities and relevant state agencies to report the incident. Within days, Karen received formal notices citing penalties for unauthorized interference with private property. Her face when the letters arrived was unforgettable. A mix of disbelief, shock, and the dawning realization that her actions were not only futile, but now legally problematic. But I didn't stop at legal measures. I decided to turn the incident into a demonstration of strategic foresight. I enhanced the garden's defenses with subtle but effective tools: hidden cameras, smart irrigation systems linked to alerts, and reinforced fencing that made unauthorized entry nearly impossible. Any attempt by the HOA to interfere again would be automatically recorded, documented, and enforceable in court. Karen, predictably, returned shortly thereafter, hoping to assert control once more. She arrived to find the garden not only intact but thriving, with automated systems maintaining the plants perfectly. I greeted her calmly, explaining that any future interference would result in immediate legal action and penalties. Her attempts to argue or intimidate were met with documented evidence, legal citations, and public observation by neighbors who had come to follow the ongoing saga. The public nature of the enforcement added an extra layer of humiliation for Karen. Every neighbor who had witnessed the garden's recovery, combined with the formal notices sent to her, reinforced the reality that her authority had no standing over my property. The HOA's aggressive interference had backfired spectacularly, highlighting her lack of foresight and undermining her credibility. I also implemented a symbolic flourish. A section of the garden was transformed into a small showcase with signs noting legal protection and ownership, private property. Any unauthorized interference is prohibited by law. It was both practical and a psychological reminder. Karen and her HOA allies could no longer approach without consequences. Meanwhile, I expanded my influence strategically. I ensured that every path, flower bed, and tree in the garden was legally documented, turning the space into an unassailable fortress of private ownership. The more Karen tried to assert dominance, the stronger my position became. Every intrusion was an opportunity to enhance security, enforce the law, and demonstrate foresight. By the end of the week, the garden was fully restored, legally fortified, and aesthetically improved beyond its original design. Karen's interference had been entirely neutralized, and the HOA had learned once again that aggression without preparation is not just ineffective, it is self-defeating. The garden stood as a living testament to patience, strategy, and the power of turning even petty attacks into victories. As I walked among the flowers, observing the thriving plants and the carefully maintained paths, I reflected on the broader lesson. Foresight and preparation turn attacks into leverage. Karen had attempted to disrupt, intimidate, and exert control, but every move she made had been anticipated and countered. The garden wasn't just a place of beauty. It was a symbol of strategic mastery and a reminder that true authority comes from knowledge, preparation, and unwavering patience.